If you've got Christmas jumpers on, stand up and brandish your Christmas jumper. If not, do some kind of festive signal and we'll do a photo. Hold on, people.
Oh, Carla, winning.
Oh my God, look at Carla. That was amazing.
Welcome to Creative Morning. Hi, I'm Lindsey Newman-Wood from Passion Marketing Innovation. Really pleased to be here. Thank you so much, Tim, for asking me to do this talk. And just to give you a bit of background, I volunteered to do this talk probably early part of the year when the list of topics came out. And little did I know what year we were going to have ahead of us. So I always imagined that I'd be doing this in person. So of course, things have changed. Here I am in my very festive she shed today. And it always actually reminds me a bit of the video of Last Christmas. I'm a big George Michael fan. And I was watching the video recently. I was like, that is my idea of heaven. Christmas, you know, up in the Alps somewhere remote and cozy with a fire and the Christmas tree, and somewhere outside as well. And that's what today's all about. So biophilia. And I have to say, when I saw it, I had to Google it. Hadn't heard of it before, but what an interesting topic. So I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts around that. And I have to say, the whole pandemic, the whole lockdown situation has really made me appreciate biophilia in a big way. So biophilia, what is it all about really? Well, the topic of today's session and the chapter for the Creative Morning all across the world is the nature around us is the nature within us. And I think it's really apt, that whole feeling of the nature and what's around us and how that kind of helps us with our own nature as well within us. So what does biophilia even mean? And you know, like me, you probably would have to Google it. I know Tim had to too. But really, just simply put, it's the human tendency to interact or to be closely associated with other forms of life in nature. And it's a desire or a tendency to commune with nature. So it's the term coined by the Harvard naturalist Dr. Edward O. So he was the guy that kind of brought that phrase to life, really. And really, it's really about being passionate, that passionate love of life and all that is alive as well. And I think, I don't know about you, but I've certainly felt the need to be closer to nature during a really stressful time, not just in our work life, but in our personal life as well. The fact that we haven't been able to see family, the fact that we have had to work in very different conditions as well, and the challenges that brings us. One of my habits that I've formed, which I'm going to keep when all this is over, is a daily walk. You know, when we haven't been able to go to the gym or go for a swim or all the things that we used to like doing, having that daily walk in nature has really helped to ground me. And I'm sure a lot of you will have felt that too. So it's sort of the word, if you like, originates from the Greek philia, meaning love of. And it really means that literally a love of life or a love of living things. And I have to say that that's kind of my mantra really, is that I think that you should have that passion. So I'm passion marketing, but have that love of life, of humans. And that's what I've really missed, is humans and being closer to nature as well. And whilst I suppose a lot of us like me, you normally work from home, we've not had to work from home in quite the same way, have we? So I love meeting up with people, that feeling of meeting at those creative mornings and networking events and conferences, that kind of really, that kind of buzz that you get is really missing, isn't it? And I'm hoping that won't be too long before that returns. And as humans, we have that deeply ingrained love of nature, and it's intuitive to us. So it's imprinted in our DNA. You know, you see, you know, children absolutely loving being outside in the park, in the woods, making dens. That's inside us from when we're a small child. And really researchers, so there's a bit of science behind this, they believe it's the reason that we've thrived as species, and it's helping us to sort of locate the most fertile land, cultivate food, and nurture new life. So it's really, really crucial that we are close to nature. So we have this need really to be close to the natural world. And apparently, so again, if you're not like me, and I like all the touchy-feely stuff, but if you want some hard facts here, guys, researchers have found that 90% of people would imagine themselves in a natural setting when asked to think of a place where they felt relaxed and calm. And it reminded me when I was doing getting the presentation together, it reminded me of some mindset stuff that I worked on when I was actually in labour with my eldest child, who was just turned 18, so that's how long ago it was. And I remember in the really tough moments of labour, imagining myself on a hill under a tree on a really nice warm day with the wind blowing through the leaves and just feeling at peace. And I remember the midwife saying they were really shocked at how I was able to manage some of that pain that I was going through. And I was like, it's just about where I went to in my head. And, you know, you think about something that if I asked you, where do you think of when you think about being relaxed and calm? Most people would say somewhere outside, somewhere on a beach, maybe somewhere on a mountaintop, somewhere where they can feel relaxed and away from the hustle and bustle of technology and the city and all the sort of stresses of life. And being in or around nature makes us feel good, doesn't it? It really does make us feel good. That walk in the countryside, that feeling of being at one with nature, it really helps us with our well-being. And the more we can spend time in those natural environments, this really affects our productivity and our general well-being. And I don't know about you, but I think the general well-being is going to be top of people's list coming out of this pandemic. And I think there's a big push to make sure that employees' well-being is taken care of, and that our business leaders' health and well-being is taken care of too, because it has been a particularly tough time on people's mental health. So moving into sort of biophilic design, this quite interested me. So when I was researching the topic, it's really seen by some of the architects and designers. They've really embraced this. So they see that there's this connection, that actually people function better when they are next to nature. So how can architects and designers bring kind of the outside in? And you know, there's lots of things that can be done, things like water features and natural features such as indoor plants and things like that. And lots of the big brands are really incorporating this in their offices as well, to make sure that their staff feel productive and have that general well-being, because they're going to be better employees, aren't they? If they function better and they feel better, they're going to function much better as employees. So if you think about this, and going back some years now, so some of my first jobs in offices, have you ever been stuck in an office where you've got no windows, there's lots of artificial light, there's lots of air conditioning, and you just feel really rubbish, don't you? You just think, my God, I can't wait to get out of here. And I've been in those situations, particularly where perhaps I've been with a company where they're about to move, but you have to go and sit in some really dark, dingy office. And you think, gosh, I'm doing a job I actually quite enjoy, but I hate being in this office. And you can't wait for your lunch break to go and have a walk outside. But you'll understand, though, how important biophilia is and biophilic design when you consider how rubbish you feel and unproductive when you are stuck in a really grim, dimly lit office with no air, no natural light, no plants, nothing nice to look at, no scenes of beauty that you can look at across the car park. So, you know, you can really see how that is important to human beings. So as I mentioned before, some of the big brands like Apple, you know, they've embraced this. Google offices, if you've ever been to any of those types of offices, you'll see how they've really embraced it. And, you know, they're really shown to improve that workers' concentration, their engagement, their ability really just to kind of get the job done, but really enjoy it as well. And it's really something to use to attract and retain the best talent, really. So they're already ahead of the game on this, but you know, as smaller businesses, we can do this ourselves. We can think about how we can bring that outside in, or make sure ourselves and our team have those regular breaks and get to feel at one with nature. So here's just a bit of a summary here of how you can think about your own little office space. Could be at home. I've got my she shed, which has been invaluable throughout the lockdown. Get me away from the family. It's my place to retreat to, but also my place to concentrate on my work and my projects. So it's really, really important to think about how you can kind of embrace biophilia, really. So here's just some tips here that you can use. So things like being close to water. That might be something of a water feature, or being somewhere in the garden that you can actually overlook lovely landscapes, for example. Maybe some natural scents that you can actually bring into your office environment as well, to make sure that you're feeling a little bit more at one with nature and really reducing those stress levels as well. So here's just a beautiful scene, and I think, you know, just think about how you feel when you see something like this. You know, that feeling of escape, that feeling of going for that lovely walk in the woods. You know, the way that makes you feel after a really stressful day, or perhaps having to deal with, you know, family issues or some stresses at home. That walk, that feeling of being outside just makes you feel alive, doesn't it? So just wanted to kind of show some images really of beautiful countryside. I love this time of year with this autumnal colours, you know, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of nature's way of kind of being close to us and saying, you know what, it's okay, you know, come and walk in the countryside. We'll take care of you. And here's on the very flip side, I think this is a really awful kind of derelict building where actually you just don't feel great. You know, this is just makes you feel quite enclosed, makes you feel stressed. You kind of feel a little bit anxious. You're not quite sure what's behind some of these doors. Looks like a scene from some sort of zombie film, doesn't it? It's just not nice. So just think about how different those environments make you feel as well. And I thought I'd just share some of and I suppose these are just reminders really of some of the stuff that happened in the very early stages of lockdown. So this was a scene, I think it was in Llandudno, where these goats just started to take to the streets because the human beings had they were all away and they were all in lockdown, and it was just kind of nature. I feel like nature was kind of saying, do you know what, guys? Yeah, we need a bit of a break. We need to reset ourselves. We need the world to kind of have that standby for a bit, that standby button, to kind of take a moment and say, do you know what? Animals, nature, you know, that's what's actually important, and we need to take care of that, don't we? And I just thought it was quite a funny scene really, to see some of these animals that you'd never ever see in cities, just kind of thinking, hey, you know, it's okay, there aren't many humans out at the moment, so we'll take a stroll through their cities. So just a couple more images there. I thought that was quite a Christmassy one, where this reindeer or whatever it is had actually come up to some houses very, very close to as well, and they'd never seen anything like it before. So just want to cover a little bit about nature and the creative process. You know, we're on a creative morning here, so I thought it's only right to really talk about how nature can help us be more creative. And I don't know about you, but when I'm a bit stuck with something, I like to be around people. I like to talk through ideas and get those light bulb moments, but sometimes it's good to kind of just have that, immerse yourself in a new environment and get out of that office, or get out of the home environment and just take a walk in the countryside, and maybe not always be in isolation. So sometimes people work best when they're just sat on their own, or even in the shower. I don't know about you, I get my best kind of moments of, oh, haha, you know, those light bulb moments when I'm in the shower, but sometimes it could be, you know, when I'm with friends at a weekend, I'm more relaxed. You know, when we could go to the pub, that was always a great place for inspiration. But also walking in the countryside or walking along a beach, that sort of thing. Those moments where you get that inspiration, or you see an idea and it sparks something in your mind. And that this is kind of just some of the research I've done around, you know, not just isolating ourselves, but being part of communities and being in spaces where you can be inspired most. So have a think about what you can do. So we talked about earlier about, is there something you can do practically just to kind of bring that outside in, get closer to nature? Maybe, you know, you might say, well, actually I live in the middle of the city centre and it's really hard because, you know, I'm not close to countryside or to nature. So what can you do just in your home or in your home office? So I've got some tips here, and if you'd like a copy of some of these, then please do give us a shout. But there's some tips here about what you can do. So things like fresh air, making sure that you have the windows open, make sure that you know, your curtains don't obstruct the light, have them wide open. Think about natural light as well. Vitamin D. I've literally just said to my husband, why do I feel tired all the time? I feel like it's dark all the time. And he said, it's probably vitamin D. I was like, do you know what? I just completely not thought of that. You know, it's the whole SAD syndrome, isn't it? So think about, you know, can you think about taking a supplement? Can you think about how to maximize that natural light in your home? And just kind of clearing the clutter and opening up those curtains as well. And a big one, the biophilia is very much around this third area, which is those plants, incorporating them plants. Get lots of greenery, you know. I love waking up to beautiful palm trees. If I was on holiday, I'd put it, of course, my hubby too. But plants are not just gorgeous, they're also that natural air purifier and a mood booster. So having a nice big palm tree or a nice big plant in your house is great. So think about green. What can you get in your house or in your home office that's that green colour? That helps with your energy and it helps clear your mind. So here's just a picture of an example of somebody that's really thought about their lighting and where they're going to be sitting. They've got lots of plants. There's no clutter here. It's just lots of nice, clean lines, lots of plants, lots of green to really inspire them and clear their mind. So I think just to kind of end the presentation, really, I think for me, this year has been a tough one for all of us, but it's also been a time to reflect, I think, and a time to step back and think about what we really, really want from the future. And I think it's really helped, certainly me, and I hope for you too. It's taught me that actually being close to nature is what I really need to do. And I think that 2021 is the year for us to really focus on what we want and what makes us happy as well. And how we work has changed, how we communicate with each other has changed dramatically. But it's that time, and you've got this time over Christmas as well, to really think about what it is that you want and what you'd like from 21. And we are in charge of that. We can transform the way we live and work. And I think with biophilia, that really brings in that nature. The nature that we live in can be the nature within us. So that can help us with our well-being as well. So I hope that you have a fantastic Christmas, and I hope you have a lovely new year, and I look forward to seeing you in person, hopefully, when we return to some sort of normality. Maybe to shake hands or even a hug would be wonderful.
Again, but thank you very much. You've been amazing, people. Thank you.